Hello and welcome. My name is Mitch Dyer, and I'm sitting here with my new best friend in the whole world, Ryan Clements. How are you, Ryan?
New best friend? We've always been best friends.
Okay.
Hi, Mitch. How you doing, man?
I'm doing really good, and I'm really excited to talk to you, Ryan, about Dead Space 3.
That's what we're looking at.
You've seen stuff that I haven't. I've traditionally been the guy covering a bunch of Dead Space stuff. I've not seen this. This is new to me.
Yes.
What's happening? There are two people on the screen.
There's two people. It's co-op. Oh, God, and they're being shot at. Oh, but not for long.
Doesn't even tell him just they're getting wrecked.
Yeah, he's fine. He'll recover. He'll have a quick recovery.
So this is a new enemy, yeah?
I actually am not entirely sure.
All right, so that was me. That was me leading into you saying, yes, that's a new enemy. We haven't seen. It's a new kind of necromorph. We've never seen that guy, right? Like he's teleporting all over the place.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is that behavioral pattern I have never seen in yeah. I mean, I would like to point out.
It's still a zombie with chicken wings.
Yeah, I would like to point out that the original Dead Space games were actually too scary for me to play. So
you were a bit of a coward. And
I was a bit of a coward.
I feel that way about most things.
But I want to give some context to the footage that we're seeing. We actually got a chance to see all this in New York City during an event, but now we're finally able to actually talk to you about it properly, and that's why we're actually seeing two different streams that were set up side by side, so any discrepancies you might see here is just a little bit of timing.
Whoa, it's getting bigger!
But so
look at this technology we have at IGN.
Now, if you guys haven't kept up with Dead Space 3 already, obviously this is a full story co-op, so what you're seeing is Isaac along with John Carver. His first name's John, right?
It's John Carver.
Whew,
he's our new boy.
And it's obviously you get to play through the campaign as both of these guys and get some dueling experiences. Now you're fast going to see right here. You'll notice. Oh, what is this? Mitchie D.
So
looks
on
like
Carver's screen, you can see he's picking up his little toy soldier, but on Isaac's screen, it's nothing.
But on Isaac, he's like, Carver, you all right, dude? Oh, also something's wrong with my face. Now.
So this is our first look at Carver. This is kind of his most interesting character trait, because before, all we knew was, hey, he and Isaac aren't really friends. They're just kind of in this to put an end to the necromorph plague for good.
And to survive.
Right.
Survival is kind of a key element.
So now we're seeing that Carver is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and this was sort of the big reveal during the event, is that Carver is going to be suffering from some sort of mental breakdown, some sort of insanity, hallucinations, these sorts of things. And this is actually really interesting because in an article that Mike Thompson, a freelancer that we use, and myself talk about, Carver is going to be seeing things like all these toy soldiers which you have on the larger picture right here.
And meanwhile, Isaac sees nothing of the sort.
Isaac sees nothing of the sort. Now, when you're playing online with a stranger or even with a friend, you guys are going to have very different experiences, and that's where I think a lot of the fun and a lot of the tension is going to come from, is because you really have to rely on what the other person, other person's word as to what, what's actually happening on screen. And I don't think we're going to see it in this particular video, but there are actually some huge gameplay differences in these two characters. For example, Carver might go into full-on hallucination and is highly susceptible to necromorph attack. Meanwhile, Isaac has to try and defend his partner because, unfortunately, that partner is just wailing around and completely freaking out, and Isaac doesn't know what's going on. But with that said, again, now we're kind of back on Carver's screen here, and he is wrecking shop. He is a military man, in case you guys didn't know.
Yep, he's different than Isaac. Was just an engineer.
Yes.
Turned superhero, basically. So what's interesting to me is we're seeing Carver kind of lose his mind, and we heard rumors way back before Dead Space was even announced that we heard rumors it was going to be on this ice planet, and that Isaac was going to be, of course, the main protagonist, but he was going to have like this split personality disorder where he was going to have mental issues. And so far we haven't seen any of that. That's not necessarily off the table.
Yes.
But what we're seeing with Carver is, I think, kind of elements of that. Maybe it was just this big rumor game of telephone where Carver,
that's always possible.
Somebody was told Carver has these mental problems and they applied it to Isaac. Who knows?
But
bad stuff is happening to these dudes at any rate.
Yes, bad stuff. As is often the case in the Dead Space games.
So it goes.
I think we should point out, though, that we really don't know if we're going to see. Maybe Isaac breaks down later on too, and then we start to see two different conflicting accounts of his insanity.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? I mean, imagine the kind of dynamics that you'll get, and something that Thompson brings up in our article, which you can find on IGN.com, is that you may have a completely different experience from the other character, and that might inspire you to play this campaign twice, just from the different vantage point. And we don't know, and especially if Isaac starts to see different things than is quote unquote the reality.
Yeah.
There might be plenty of reason to go back and play this again. But as you can see, as you pointed out in the beginning of this video, these necromorphs that we're fighting had some really awesome attack patterns. I actually really liked the sort of teleporting, the the flickering effect, visual effect that
They're
we're
dodging
getting.
out of the way of these
It
projectiles.
does kind of seem almost like, you know, are these guys actually flickering?
Right, yeah.
But, you know, I'm going to assume that that's just an attack pattern.
That's a legit flicker, Clements.
That's a legit flicker.
That flicker ain't no joke.
Now, if you were about to pop in Dead Space 3 for the first time, you were ready to play this.
I'm in the future.
You're in the
February
future.
5th, 2013.
This is Mitch Dyer, future Mitch Dyer.
Okay.
Who would you want to play as?
I want to play as Carver.
You want to get the insanity treatment.
Yes, and that before I even knew that Carver was losing his mind. I heard this game had co-op. I wanted to see the campaign from the second side, right? Like, I really like Isaac as a character. They did some interesting things with him in Dead Space 2. But I am fully prepared to see this game from a new perspective with Carver,
and
which
actually,
apparently is happening right now. Okay,
You know what? Forgive me. I didn't think our video got this far, but this is awesome that we get to show you guys this. This is the section I was telling you about. You'll notice on Carver's screen, he is not in the right place right now.
Yeah, he's alone. There are toys everywhere, sidewalk chalk.
Meanwhile, Isaac is just trying to keep these necromorphs off him, and now the camera's zooming back out. Huh. So now we got to see, like, and Carver's like, oh snap!
Oh, what's up?
I was not in my right state of mind. That's not how Carver sounds. That was just my artistic interpretation.
I like that though.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I really wanted to get into voice acting.
I think we need to go back to the VO booth and get Ryan Clements involved.
Get myself all up into Dead Space.
Yeah.
So, Mitchie, what is your most anticipated part of Dead Space?
I'm really excited for this. Like this whole co-op thing where you see things from different perspectives with each character. That is easily the most interesting thing to me. Now, maybe because it's new, but it's from a story perspective one of the most interesting things about it.
Awesome, and keep it locked on IGN.com for everything else.